kunzima ukuthanda umuntu sasuza kushintshela esikhaleni uyomufica ekhohlwe usekhona engani leyo ndaba ebuhlungu.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sheila Buto. I'm going to share with you some important points. As we all know, United States of America and Canada, and also in United Kingdom, they celebrate Black Month, and they, with the excuses, they want to recognize the achievement of Black people, in the communities, and also, but we know there are some insidious intentions behind this. As we know, you from Europa, there were a lot of there that every all the problem came from Europe, I can say. Sorry, I was pronouncing it almost in Spanish. And I'm going to go slowly because English is not my first language. So, we know that they always have good intention about the whole world. So, when it was time to go and do to go and destroy, the indigenous people of America. When I'm saying America, I'm not talking about United States of America. I'm talking about the continent, the island, with the native people. When they went, they had to go to do genocide. People from Europa, they said they were going, to preach the gospel, or either preach the gospel, or they go, to civilize. So, and now, today, we have another initiative, Black Month and Black History, and we have some museums, Black slavery museums all over the world. So we know with that it's not done or with the purpose, of the well-being of Black people. First of all, let's discuss a very important point. Slavery is not a Black thing. When discussing slavery, it's essential to mention all the peoples who were subjected to this practice, not just Blacks. This is a valuable point. Slavery was a widespread practice throughout history and across many cultures, affecting numerous ethnic groups and populations. It's crucial to recognize that slavery wasn't a unique experience for Blacks, but also affected indigenous people that they try to call as Hispanic, and Asians, and Europeans, and other groups. By acknowledging all the peoples who were subjected to slavery, we can better understand the history of this practice and its long-term consequences. This can also help promote greater understanding and empathy among different ethnic groups and cultures. Okay? The history of slavery is complex and lengthy, but here's a brief overview. Ancient era. Slavery existed in ancient civilizations such as Egypt, Greece, and Rome. Slaves were often prisoners of war or indebted individuals. And I want to emphasize that especially in Greece, there was a small group of soldiers who forced to slavery the rest of the population that was in Greece. Middle Ages. Slavery continued to exist during the Middle Ages, particularly in Muslim and Christian societies. Slaves were often prisoners of war or individuals enslaved for debt. Transatlantic slave trade. 15th to 19th centuries. The transatlantic slave trade was one of the darkest periods in the history of slavery. Millions of Africans were forcibly taken to the Americas, to the continent of America, to work on plantation and in mines. Okay, so this is a quick overview, and we know during that same time there was a group of French people too who were in debt, who were slaves with those Africans and who suffered the same mistreatments. And we don't forget that before bringing the Africans, so the Native Americans were enslaved first. So that means they brought the African after. So it's essential. So when you're talking about history, so you should talk about history. The truth for everyone. And I'm telling you, there are some around the world. So they have a museum of slavery museums around the world. So let me see. So we have in Africa, in the city called Dakar in Senegal, they have a national museum of slavery. In Angola, the city's name is Luanda. The Museum of Transatlantic Slave Trade in Gorée, another city of Senegal. A Museum of Slavery and Freedom, Cape Town in South Africa. In the continent America, so we have National Underground Railroad Freedom Center, that's in Cincinnati, USA. National Museum of African American History and Culture, Washington, D.C., USA. Museum of Slavery, Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. And Museum of the Transatlantic Slave Trade, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Okay, we're going to Europe. International Slavery Museum, Liverpool, UK. National Museum of Slavery, Amsterdam, Netherlands. Museum of the Transatlantic Slave Trade, Nantes, that's not in France. Museum of Slavery and Freedom in Lisbon, Portugal. And in Asia, we have Museum of Slavery, Kolkata, India, National Museum of Slavery, Dhaka, Bangladesh. But there is no museum to remind, white people slavery in Greece and Rome. So if they want to do museum of slavery, they have to do it for everyone. Otherwise, this is a tool of stigmatization. So we notice that they try to they don't talk about Native American slavery, because now they call them Hispanic, and they associate them with Europeans. So especially that's what Dominican Republic is trying to do by putting slavery, museum slavery. They probably try to remind Haitian people of the Haitian Republic that they were slaves. So if they behave with this intention, they are denying themselves the legibility, the legitimacy to stay, to occupy, the eastern part of the island. Because if they act like this, if they're doing that for this, so if Dominican Republic feel they more associated with Europe and Spanish, so they have no legitimacy to be in that island, because the island name is Haiti, Quisqueya, ou Boyo. So it's just for disrespect. Some people, they keep calling the island Hispaniola. The island is not, the name of the island is not Hispaniola anymore, because it's not a Spanish colony. So this is the truth. So if Dominican Republic, they feel that they are European, so they pertain to Spain. So they have just to go to Spain, because the land of Haiti is for people who fought, who had to stand up against injustice, against a group of people, trying, inventing, always trying to, to do evil to others, but they always use, good intentions. So with good intention, that's when we get slavery, we get all those things, and we get all those genocides. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so this is the point, and I think if they want, they just use that Black Month history just to remind the black people, though they were slaves. And I'm telling you, this has a very bad effect, because when you see other group of people, they behave a way that we look like they're slaves. So that's the real intention behind all that celebration. Because if you want to to talk about slavery, so you have to talk about the safe slavery for everybody. I don't care if they do that to more black people, but you have to talk to the slavery of everyone. If you don't do that, so this way the other will fear that we were the only people enslaved, because we're not slaves, we are enslaved by you others. And actually, this is the shame. Don't go to us. The shame go to the abusers. And the same nations, who did that injustice, they are themselves putting slavery museum. That doesn't make any sense. So they just want to remind us that we look like a slave, right? So I'm asking you, people, you have to stand up and stop that, because this is not helping. This way, it's putting division. It's a way, when to stigmatize people. They try, to look for different identities. So we have to be proud of our identities, because there is no pride to be, the one who brought slavery and colonialism. So they have to stop. So this is so if they want to celebrate a Black Month, to talk about slavery, okay, you have to do it for every single group. Okay, do it for the Hispanic too. Do it for the Greek. Do it for the Romans. Do a Roman and talk about the slavery too. This way we will understand that your intention were good. And okay, my friends, so that's all I wanted to share, because it's time to finish with that hypocrisy. Justice for